So in this video, I want to talk about the law of attraction and how you can use the law of attraction to get whatever it is that you want. But it's going to be a little bit different than I think most of the videos that you guys have watched out there. I think most of our channel will be based on the law of attraction, but it will be mostly based on personal development and how you can develop yourself in order to live a more fulfilled life. Because I think that is part of what most of people that are after the law of attraction or are interested in the law of attraction, that's kind of what they want, is to live a better life and to be able to just get what they want. And I think for a lot of people, they believe that if they get what they want, they'll be happy, and they equate that to material possessions sometimes, or relationships, or a better job, or money, finances, whatever. So it might not be like using the law of attraction might not be to attract that one thing that you thought or you think will bring you happiness and fulfillment. But I think, and I'm speaking from my own experiences, that once you find that inner peace within yourself, then either you might still want that one thing, but in most cases, I believe that you'll realize that that is no longer that what you want and what you need in order to experience that. Because it might sound a bit cliche, but as everybody always say, it's basically inner peace comes from within, and no material possession out there can actually bring that for you. But I'm going to break down the law of attraction and how it works, according to me. So the law of attraction, I mean, I stumbled upon the law of attraction back in 2006, which was about roughly 16, 17 years ago. And I obviously, back at the time, I also, up until recently, and still to a certain degree, but I've experienced a big emptiness within myself, and I kind of wanted to fill that void with certain things, or certain almost experiences that would bring me that joy and fulfillment, but also the recognition from other people. That's mostly what it was all about. I wanted to achieve certain levels of success and finances and get into a relationship and all of those things, because that would mean that I'm accepted within society, because I thought that is what's expected from them. And to a certain degree, I think that is almost the premise on which society is built, is that once you have XYZ, then you can fit into our world. And I think that's why a lot of people will chase after those external things and not necessarily turn within, and try to improve themselves. So I'm going to break it down. So the law of attraction, as many of you might know, starts off with like the most basic thing that everybody always talks about, or the most basic element of the law of attraction, is visualization, right? So you need to be able to visualize, and you need to hold that mental thought, or that mental image in your mind for a prolonged time, and you have to believe, and you have to generate the feeling, and you have to get on the right vibration and frequency and all of those things, and then you'll attract whatever it is that you want. And I think there's some truth to it. And just before I jump into that, the reason why I'm making this video and the reason why I'm sharing this is because I've obsessively studied the law of attraction. I've studied every single technique out there. Throughout these years, I've used visualizations and meditations and the 2-cup method and this and that, and you can like name anything, and I've tried it, or any method. And I've basically now gotten to a place where I've brought everything together, and I kind of understand what the law of attraction is. And it's not as much a law outside of you, it's more a law within yourself, within oneself. And it's got more to do with where you are emotionally, and how you feel, and how you the level of contentment and fulfillment that you are in. And I know a lot of people out there would allude to exactly that. But I think it's difficult for a lot of people that they try to find something in the external world, and they try to find something that they don't need to face their own realities or their own problems. They just want to say, okay, I accept who I am at this very moment. Yet I can, with all the brokenness inside of me, all the traumas that I've endured as a child, or whatever the case might be, all the problems that I have, I can maintain that. I can remain that version of myself. And then this is the law of attraction is this external tool that I can use to nonetheless still attract whatever it is that I believe I want. And it's absolutely, cannot be further from the truth. The less you heal inside, the less you grow inside, the less you will attract, no matter what. And that's my point of view, and it's been my personal experience. And so I want to break it down. I want to break down all of those different elements from the outside, that external tool that you can use, which is the law of attraction. I want to break down try and break down every single piece of element of that, and turn it inwards, and see how, and to explain to you how you can basically use what you need to change within yourself in order to change that external thing, or in order to get the on the right frequency, get the visualizations right, get the meditations, the thought process, all of those things, how to get that right. So let's break down the visualization part. Now, to me, visualization, if you don't change something within you, yet you just go and sit on a couch and you close your eyes and you meditate, or you just visualize, and you visualize something external, and you visualize that one thing. Let's say it's a new car you want, or that new relationship, or $1 million. Then it's still going to be separate from yourself, because you're not turning inwards. You're just visualizing something outside of you and expecting that to then just show up on your doorstep. And a lot of people explaining the law of attraction will say that, well, first of all, they've gone a bit deeper, saying that you need to get on the right vibration, and I'll get into what that exactly is and how you actually can do that. But I think a lot of people will talk about the visualization process as something that you can just, as I said, do regardless of how you feel inside of yourself. And that a lot of people also say that, yes, because, I mean, if it was this easy, then most people would just start visualizing and stuff will start to show up. Yet, it doesn't always happen that way. And then a lot of people out there explaining the law of attraction would say that it's because you didn't put in the effort, right? So now we know that. And I mean, the movie The Secret also mentioned a lot of those things. Would say step 1 is to visualize, step 2 is to take action, and then step 3 is to receive, right? So people would say, first of all, they brought in a 4th step, which is you need to visualize, then you need to take action, but then you also need to get on the right frequency, and then whatever it is that you want will come to you. So let's break it down. That visualization process, to me, is nothing more than, or what it should be, is nothing more than a thought process, a decision to go, or to set a certain goal. So if you think about yourself driving to work every day, you have the thought process, and obviously it happens so easily and so automatically because you've done it so many times, right? But so if you think about that, you just think about, you just think of, listen, I need to get to work tomorrow, right? Because you know that's what you need to do and that's what you want to do. But you don't think about every single step towards getting there. You don't visualize every day. Visualize, okay, I need to back up out of the driveway, and then I need to turn left, and then I need to drive 100 yards, and then turn right, and all of those things. So what you just do is you have the thought, and you have the decision to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to work. And with everything else in life, I think it's the same way from my personal experiences, that you don't need to visualize every single step. You don't need to, if you want a brand new car, and I'm just using different examples because a lot of people, if you ask them what they want, they would either say a car or $1 million or a new job or a relationship, right? But there's no point. It's ineffective if you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to visualize being in this brand new car. I'm going to visualize how it looks, how it feels, how it smells, how all of those things happen, and then just expect something to happen. All you need, what the visualization process to me is merely the decision to actually deciding that you want to have a brand new car. So I'm using that again as an example. So you just need to decide, what do I want? That car. And then you start moving in that direction. Then you start inquiring, okay, what does it cost? How I'm going to generate the money in order to attain that, whether it's a loan or this or that. So that's the visualization part for me. And the reason why I say this is because there are so many things that you need to change within yourself first before you can get to that point. Because what a lot of people do is they would feel that I want to have this brand new car. And it's not because they are passionate about brand new car or because they truly are interested in cars or anything. It's literally just because of what that car represents for them. So the emptiness they experience inside, that car in their minds, that car will fulfill that. So the emptiness and the lack of, in their minds, the lack of respect or acceptance from the outside world, that will be filled once they get to that status or have that car. And that's why they do it. And I want to get to the next point, which is, to me, and again, it will tie in. So I'm not finishing the whole visualization and reasoning behind it, but it will tie in with, as I move along, it will start to make sense a little bit more as to why I'm saying this. So the next part I want to talk about is the frequency, right? So a lot of people would know how to visualize because all of us do it every day. But when it comes to the frequency, people might say, okay, but you need to get on the right frequency. And a lot of people would say, but how do I do that? Like, what does that mean? I need to get on the frequency of that brand new car or that job or that relationship. And they would say, or they would think, but how do I do that? It's something that you weren't taught from a very young age, like what that is exactly. Like nobody knows really what the definition of that truly is. And to me, what I've tried to kind of simplify it for myself, and the thing that I've come to understand is that the vibration is nothing more than confidence. So if you put it into almost layman's terms, vibration and confidence is exactly the same thing. So what I found in my life is that the more you do something, obviously, I mean, all of us know that the more you do something, the more confident you'll get. But it's not always the case. That's the assumption. But it's not always the case. And this is going to sound maybe a bit demotivating to a lot of you. But what I found was that letting go of who you think you need to be in order to get that acceptance and admiration and respect and everything from the outside world is the absolute key to getting to a point where you are confident in whatever it is that you do. Because reason being is, people might think that, and I'm speaking from my own experiences, I used to think that, because I grew up with this not being good enough mentality. Nothing was ever good enough. And so I started to have this belief that if I can just achieve financial success, if I can just build the biggest business in the country, metaphorically, obviously. But still, I wanted to like build the biggest business. I wanted to have 1,000 people working for me. I wanted to be at the top, right? Because then those people in my mind, well, subconsciously maybe, and even consciously, would think that, okay, this person is actually better than we thought, and I would get the respect, I would get the acceptance and the admiration. So I set off for the better part of like my years between being 18, finishing high school, and up until now, recently. That's what I was chasing, and I was chasing business and building this big corporate structure, and I found that the more I moved, and obviously I was taking massive amounts of action, and I was visualizing and doing all of those things that law of attraction teaches us. But I found that the more I moved towards that end goal, the less confident I got. And what I've realized was that the reason for that is because that was not what, first of all, who I am. It doesn't fit my personality, it doesn't fit my temperament, it doesn't fit innately like who I am and what I'm good at, my talents, my skills, and all of those things, first of all. And then secondly, it didn't fit the what I actually wanted. So I thought that was what I wanted. And if anybody asked me a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what do you truly want? Without any reservation or expectation, I would have said that's what I wanted, because that's what I believe I wanted. But what I actually wanted was the admiration that in my mind would have come with that. So first of all, I lack the natural ability to run a big multi-million dollar corporation, just because of my personality. And what I've learned was that the closer I get to that, the more incompetent I almost felt, the more pressure I felt, the more the less confidence I got. It's not always the case that the more you do something, the more confident you're going to get, because the more you do something that you're not actually meant to be doing or want to do, the more your limitations get shown to you, and the more you get faced with obstacles that that makes it very difficult for yourself to actually attain that. Because as you move forward, and as I've moved through the the structure of building this business, I was obviously faced with, the more people worked for me, the more problems I had, the more expectations there was on me to perform as the owner and the top of the business. So and I didn't have the tools, most probably, to, well, I definitely didn't have the tools to deal with that. But I also lacked the personality type. And to me, like, people would say, but anybody can learn those things, and I don't think so. And I have first-hand experience in this. Like, yes, you can learn, but it doesn't mean that you can learn how to handle people. You can learn what to do and what not to do, but it doesn't mean it becomes easier. In actual fact, it became harder, because internally, like innately, who I am was, let's say, a person that's very emotional, and that can't just fire people whenever it needs be. Yet that personality type. So it was very, very tough for me. I would sit with an employee and not get rid of them, yet they've got a very bad influence on my company. And I almost felt judged for doing XYZ at my own company. But I didn't have the personality type to just easily say, okay, you don't fit my values and stuff at the company, so I'm going to let you go. I would just hold on to that person. So it became a lot tougher. So as time progressed, I started to lose confidence in my ability to run this company. And the sole reason for that is because I was never supposed to be running 1,000 people. And I mean, I didn't get to that point as yet, and most probably I'm not going to get to that point. And I think it's not because of it. It's not because it's not possible, but it's because it's not fulfilling myself. And the less the less confidence I got, the more I progressed towards that goal, the more problems basically came up, and the more mistakes I started to make, and the more mistakes I made, the less confidence I got. So it was just this kind of this snowball effect. So basically, I got less and less on that vibration. I was on a completely different vibration to what what vibration was needed in order to run this massive company. And that's the thing. So that's why I say I equate it to the vibration. I equate it to confidence. So once you start doing something that you actually love doing, and not with the expectation of somebody else, or from somebody else's expectation, then the more you progress towards that, the more you move towards who you innately and internally were supposed to be. And that's when you build confidence, and that's when you basically start getting more and more on the frequency that is needed to become whatever, or do whatever, or get in that relationship. So let's take YouTube as an example. I've always been passionate about YouTube, and like, this is my first video. So I've always been passionate about making YouTube videos and literally just sharing my my stories and my experiences and stuff, and hoping that somebody can somewhere find value out of it, and maybe it can help somebody. But I've never wanted to do that, because in my mind I couldn't make enough money. I wouldn't get the respect. I wouldn't have 1,000 people working for me. I wouldn't have the biggest building or the biggest brand in the country by doing YouTube videos. So that's why I didn't do it. But now that I've been able to let go of the outcome, letting go of the expectation of that need for admiration, like, honestly, through this channel, I've got no reservation. I've got no idea as to, like, I want 1,000 followers or subscribers. I want 1,000,000 subscribers, or this or that. Like, truly, I can honestly, for the first time in my life, I can say that I just want to do this because I want to put my stuff out there. It's almost like a digital diary for myself. And if somebody can watch these videos and get something out of it, then I'm happy. I don't even need to know how many people this helped, if it even helped anybody at all. I don't need to know these things. Whether it gets watched, whether it doesn't. And I'm sure I'll get to a point where I'll improve the videos and try and make it more relevant to the outside world. But my focus with my YouTube channel is to authentically be myself, and just to do whatever it is that I want to do. So, and I believe that, like, literally, I started my YouTube channel yesterday. I tried to do my first video, and the timing just didn't work out. But already today, by coming and sitting in front of the camera, I can already feel a lot more confidence. And that's literally in one day. I didn't even do a video yesterday, and I didn't even, like, finish it or edit it or upload it, nothing. But already, just by coming and sitting down and actually switching on the camera and doing it yesterday, the difference between yesterday and today is already massive in the level of confidence that I do have in front of the camera. So, and that's who I know internally. That's who I've always been. That's what I've always alluded to, my personality. I've done, like, a few personality tests, and all of them have always alluded to me having to being this person that helps other people, that is on camera, that shares their stuff. I'm not necessarily the best to sit with one person one-on-one. I can do it, and I enjoy doing it, but I'd like to just put myself out there, and whoever is ready for what I have to share can then use it. So I've always been that person that wants to get in front of the camera and just share their stuff. So, and therefore, I've been suppressing that version of myself. And the more I'm going to do that, the more I'm going to move towards that version, that person. And the more I move towards that is authentically me, the more confidence I'm going to get. So the more confidence I'm going to have, the more I'm on that actual vibration of a YouTuber or a life coach, or whatever it is that's destined for me throughout or through this channel. So the message that I want to get across, it might seem like it deviates from the actual law of attraction. This is how you visualize. This is how you do all of those things. But to me, I'm just trying to break it down and say, The visualization is just having that decision, but you can't make that decision if you still is in the process of trying to fulfill the emptiness that you're experiencing. If you're trying to, if like what I want you to do is I want you to truly ask yourself, like, if every single person, first of all, if every single person that is close to me, because a lot of us, like in most cases, we don't really do something for the outside world. For well, some people do, but in most cases, people don't do something for the outside world to see it. They do it for their their close inner circles to see it, either parents or friends or school friends or friends from school or colleagues or whatever, right? But it's in most cases like the people closest to you, and that's why social media is so effective and so well, in the same sense, damaging, because whatever you do, you want to post on social media, you want to post it on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of those, because you want the people that you follow and that's following you to see whatever you have, that brand new car or the money or the new job or the relationship. That is why social media is so effective. And why it's become such a big part of our society is because that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to fill that emptiness within yourself and then post it on social media, and you want the people that you want the respect and the recognition from to actually see that. And whether they comment on it or they like it, you don't care, because you know they are going to see it. And that's just enough for you. That fulfills you in a lot of cases. And I'm saying this because I was at a certain point. I was at that point as well. And so the what I want you guys to do is to get to a point to ask yourself, if social media disappeared, first of all, and secondly, like tomorrow, and secondly, all the people that is my inner circles would disappear tomorrow. They just vanish off the face of the earth. What would I actually do? What would I do for the outside world? Would I still buy that brand new car and most probably put myself in financial difficulty just to drive that car? Would I go for that job where I'm actually miserable and just because of the status that it gives me? Would I stay in that relationship or get into that relationship? Would I have kids? Would I do all of those things? And if the answer is no, then really try, and that's the most difficult part, is to really let go, because you formed this personality around who you think the outside world, especially again your inner circle, wants from you. So that's become your personality. That's become your drivers, your goals. Everything that the way you live your life is to fill that gap and to fill that need, to get that admiration, recognition, and stuff. So that's going to be the most difficult part, because now if, let's say, all of those people are gone tomorrow, and you have to now do whatever it is that you truly are passionate about without the money, without focusing on how much money it's going to bring me or whatever, then you need to technically change your entire personality. You need to now change the goals that you've been having or that you've had for the last 10 years, or in my case, 15, 16, 17 years. So that's going to be the most difficult part. But only once you get to that point is when you will be able to, let's call it, apply the law of attraction, because you can apply the law of attraction as much as you want. And it's going to be extremely tough, and you might fight a lot of battles to get to, let's say, the new car that you want. You might need to get a new job, and you need to borrow money from the bank, and you need to do XYZ just to get that car, which you think will fulfill you. But at the end of the day, that car will bring you more negativity and more problems than the admiration that you think you actually wanted and that you will get from the outside world. So once you get to that point, that is when you can truly use the law of attraction to not attain the thing that you think you want, but to attain inner peace and fulfillment. And that's truly where all of us want to get to. And that's where, as I mentioned earlier, that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm willing to say, you know what, I'm most probably not going to be like a millionaire one day, but I'm valuing my inner fulfillment and inner peace and joy and life experience above having that money that most probably will come with a lot of problems that I don't have the skills or the the passion for to actually endure. So I can get to that point of having millionaire status through a lot of struggles and through a lot of problems and battles. But at the end of the day, is it going to be worth it? And I've been fortunate to almost hit rock bottom, to where it showed me that, you know what, you're going to get to that point, but it's not going to be worth it, because your mental health and your inner peace and joy is worth much more. And you don't need those things, because also what you think is going to, like, you think that that new car or that new job or career or whatever is going to bring you that recognition, but it's not going to feel great. In fact, it's going to make you feel worse, because that's not internally who you are and what you actually want. So first of all, visualization process. Before you start that, go through the whole process of saying to yourself, who am I truly? And if I don't need to impress people, if I don't need to be accepted by people and validated by people, who am I truly? Go and look at what you've always been interested in. If it's, let's call it relationships. If you are constantly surrounding yourself with friends that are all in committed relationships, yet you're the only one that's not in a relationship, and that might have made you think that, okay, but I need to get into a committed relationship as soon as possible. Or parents would ask you, but when are we getting grandkids? So you need to get into a relationship, etc., etc. Then ask yourself, is that truly what I've always wanted, or is that just what I think society wants, and that's why I've put myself in these positions? I've surrounded myself with friends that are in committed relationships, as opposed to, I'm going to break free from that. If they all disappear tomorrow, would I again go out and find myself those friends, or do I need to maybe find myself some new friends that are also single, that are also not in committed relationships? Or do I need to find somebody that does not have a 9 to 5 corporate job and doing well, and who's got XYZ everything in place? So first of all, make that decision, and then basically, once you've done that, that decision is the visualization process, because now you're in the process of thinking to yourself, but maybe I should go in a different direction. And that's the start. And what you need to do is, the visualization in my mind is basically continuing to have that thought, continuing to make that decision, stick to that decision, and then maintaining that. Because if you make the decision once, the life that you've been living up until now, obviously, I mean, that's become habitual behavior, and it's become habit, it's become your personality. So you are going to have to revisit that decision, and maybe thought process through visualization on a regular basis, and a day, and hopefully a daily basis. So that's the first part, and then you'll start to see the frequency. You don't need to get onto a frequency. You don't need to play upbeat music in order to get on that frequency, or watch funny videos, or do anything of that. The more you walk away from who you thought you wanted to be to who you actually want to be and what you're passionate about, the more confidence you'll get automatically, without a doubt. And the more confidence you get, the more you'll get onto that frequency. And the more you get onto that frequency, it's all a snowball effect. The more you will actually attract the people that's necessary for you to get there, the experiences, the everything that's needed, whether it's money or products or people, it doesn't matter. You'll start to attract those things, and it will flow naturally, and it will feel like the weight's off your shoulders, because the more you progress towards that status or that goal or that relationship, the more you will start to almost pick up speed. It's a snowball effect. So the less effort you'll have to put in. But if you take the opposite end, if you're pursuing something that is not meant for you, that you do not have the passion for, or the natural talents or abilities, the less you'll pick up speed, the more resistance you'll actually get, and the harder it will be. So the more you walk towards that, the harder it will get. But on the other side, if you walk towards or move towards what you are passionate about, what you are truly built to do, the more it will snowball, and the less effort you'll have to put in order to get to that point. So the more you move towards that goal and towards that end goal, the less effort you'll see. Right at the end, you'll actually you won't be putting in any effort whatsoever, and everything will just flow. So that's basically, to me, how I've broken down the law of attraction. And this is the start of my journey. And I might be completely wrong. It might be just a case of visualize and hope for the best. But I don't think so. And I've got a good feeling about not the growth of my YouTube channel, which again I don't care for much. It's literally just for me being able to do what I'm passionate about and what I truly love. So yes, the idea that I want to leave you with is to be open and true to yourself, to recognize that the law of attraction is nothing more than you having to realize that you're on the wrong path. It's not, you can't force anything. You can force it, and you're going to move towards that thing, but it's not going to feel good, and you're going to be miserable, and you're going to fail a hell of a lot. So to me, again, law of attraction, nothing more than moving in the direction that you were supposed to move in. And everything, like the law, it's like gravity. Gravity is a natural thing. You can't manipulate it. You can't sometimes use it and sometimes not. The law of attraction is exactly the same thing. It's a natural thing that happens. The more you try and do what you think the outside world wants, the more you resist it. It's like jumping off a building. If you are stationed on the ground, gravity works in your favor. If you jump off a building, gravity is against you. And that's basically, if you move towards something that you think the outside world wants from you, you're jumping off the building, technically. And you're going to hit the ground, you're going to hit your goal, but it's going to feel horrible. On the other end, if you move towards what you want, that's moving with gravity. That's being stationed on the ground, as humans should be, or were built for. Then naturally everything will gravitate towards you. You don't need to visualize. You don't need to apply. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to use the law of attraction to your advantage. You just need to decide to move towards what you are truly meant for, what you're good at, what you're passionate about, without expectation of any outcomes, without expectation of how much money you're going to make, how happy you're going to be, what relationship you're going to get in, what people are going to think of your partner, whether you're going to have security once you marry this person, all of those things. That is expectation from the outside world you're trying to control. Move inwards and focus on who you truly are and what you actually want out of life. So thank you if you have been watching this video up until the end, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Moving forward, I will make continuous videos and I'll touch on different elements. I'll delve deeper into the law of attraction once again, and more so again personal development. I'll share a lot of my own stories. I've got a ton of stories to share and experiences. I'll look into one thing that I'm very passionate about lately is narcissism, and how those people are kind of controlling. If you're a very agreeable personality, how that is how the narcissistic people out there are controlling your every move. And again, which fits into what I'm saying today, is that it's based on individuals outside of you that you're trying to please, because you've got a agreeable, pleasing personality, and that's moving you in the wrong direction. So I think my next video, I'm going to hopefully talk about narcissistic people and how to navigate the world around those people in order to look to yourself, or to turn towards yourself and really ignore those people and those crowds out there, and really be authentic to yourself. So thank you again for watching this video, if you did up until now, and all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.